Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Archer's Garage and Whatnot. Today, we're working on my wife's 2003 Ford Expedition, and we're replacing the left front wheel bearing, and it's a whole hub assembly. Noticed the other day when I was driving it, it makes a little bit of a roaring type noise. It's a bearing noise, typical bearing noise, and I wanted to film this just to show people just how easy of a job it is. It's literally 4 bolts that hold this thing in. And I'm sure if you took this to a dealership, you were talking $300, $400, maybe even $500 time they get you for the parts and the labor. But how about the part for, I think it was 70, 75 bucks. So we're going to do this for less than $100 using basic hand tools. And anybody can do this. And I want to show you how to do it to empower you to be able to beat the big guy and keep the money in your pocket so you can go to the beach and have fun with the family. So help me fix this thing. And thank you for joining me. Alright, so the first thing you want to do, get your vehicle off the ground. Always support it with jack stands. Safety first. No matter what you're doing, safety first. It's not worth doing if you're going to hurt yourself, right? So put it up on jack stands. I've already got the wheel off. You're going to come in here, you need to get the caliper out of the way. And I'm going to do the whole caliper and bracket at the same time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and get these off. There's 2 of these guys. And so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a screwdriver in here. I'm going to depress the brakes. So I'm going to compress the caliper into the, or excuse me, the piston into the caliper. So I'm depressing the brakes so they're not up against the rotor at all. So that lets them slide off of the rotor. So I will show you that in just a second when we get it going. And then I'm going to take, there's 2 bolts that hold this caliper, or this bracket on, this caliper bracket. It's this one, and there's one down lower. And then the whole thing will slide up out of the way, and then you want to support it up here. So get yourself a bungee cord or something and just support it up here. You don't want to leave it hanging by your brake line because it's a brake line. You don't want to damage that. So let me grab a couple tools and we'll get this party started. Alright, so to compress the caliper, the piston into the caliper, is really simple. You just put your screwdriver in through here so it'll pry against somewhere on the caliper or brake pad, something that's connected to the caliper, and then against the rotor. Now you don't want to go hog wild with it and damage your rotor, but it shouldn't be that tight anyway because it's hydraulic and it should compress. See how, see, there you go. That's pretty much all it takes. All right, so it's in there. Now, turn this around. Most important thing to remember about that is when you get done with this, remember that you're not going to have brakes on this side until you pump that pedal all the way down and get that pad touching the rotor again. Don't forget that. I've seen people forget that and damage vehicles. So don't forget, touch your brakes all the way down to the floor once, maybe twice, before you even start the thing up. A little bit of added precaution. Alright, so now that we have this freed up, we're going to get these guys. There's 2 18mm bolts that hold this whole entire bracket on. I'm going to take it loose and I'm going to hang it with a, I've got zip ties. I'm going to hang it with a zip tie up here to the upper control arm. You can use a bungee cord or whatever you want to do. But definitely don't leave it hanging by your brake line. You don't want to do that. Anyhow, I'm going to put you guys down. I don't have my tripod, so this bolt, and there's one down there that looks just like it. Can't miss it. And I'll be back in just a second. Alright, so here's what I'm talking about, how I just zip tied it up out of the way so it doesn't fall and damage your brake line, right? Alright, so because this thing is good 20-ish pounds, probably good 22, 23 pounds. Alright, so it's out of the way. Now we can remove the rotor and just pop it off. A good mallet will do. You don't want to hit the face of it with a hammer because you're going to damage it. A mallet will do, or if you want to hit it with a hammer, this here would do. Alright, so once you get that undone, then it's these 4 18mm bolts on the inside here. Once you get that out, then it boop, pops right out. Alright, so I'm going to get this rotor off, be right back. So one thing I forgot to tell you is your ABS line, ABS wire. It goes through the backing plate. It's one 8mm that holds it on here. Then it's just kind of clipped in, and it goes up behind your inner fender well, and it's right about this area right here. It's got a clip. I mean, my hood's not even open, and I was able to get to it, so it's not real high up there. Wanted to show you this before I took it completely apart. Hope that sound comes through. Anyway, that's what we're hearing, and when you're going down the road, of course it amplifies. So that's why we're changing this. So anyway, so I got all the 4 bolts out, and when you get the new one out of the box, you can see, you know, just look at them, what makes sense to take loose. And anyway, then you take it loose and you start wrapping on it a little bit, and it should come out. It's not a press fit, but it's a tight fit into the control arm here. So all right, so here goes the new one. So when you take the old one out, you're gonna have some rough areas in the hole, and it's in there with an O-ring. Do yourself a favor, save yourself a little frustration in the future. Just clean that up a little bit of emery cloth or sandpaper, just something, just clean it up a little bit. And before you even start this job, I'm gonna turn you guys around here for a second. Before you even start jobs like this, it's good to just open up the box, see what you got, especially on a vehicle like this. So this vehicle is an 03. It's the first year of the second generation of the Expedition. So the first gen was what, 97 to 02 or 98 to 02. I don't remember what year the Expedition started. So this is the first year of the second generation of Expedition. It's very easy for a manufacturer to get a part wrong or something wrong. So before you go tearing into this stuff and ruining your weekend, look at it. You know, it could be the difference of 5 lug versus a 6 lug, or it could be something simple like that. I mean, it might be something that you wouldn't even see, but if it's something simple like that, catch it early, right? So save yourself the trouble. This one here, they got right, everything's good, but just in case, just a little bit of extra insurance, I guess you would call it, double check it. So anyhow, going back together, and so I'm using air tools on this one. You don't have to, but just good and tight. My air tool, a couple ooga-doogas, but good and tight on these. Remember, it's your wheel, right? You don't want to tighten it like a gorilla, but you want it good and snug. All right, there it is all together. Just double check all your hardware, your ABS line, all that madness. Very simple job, guys. I've been out here less than an hour. You hear a little bit of a noise now just because the rotor's rubbing against the brake pads, but don't forget to pump your brakes before you move the vehicle. As always, this channel is based on helping the small guy not have to go pay the big guy. So with a little bit of initiative, with basic hand tools, I showed you how to do a fairly expensive repair for cheap. Less than 100 bucks and less than an hour. So you can do it, you can be proud of your work, and you didn't waste an entire weekend. It took me less than an hour. So no sense giving the big guys all the money. Keep the money in your pocket. Now you can take your wife out to dinner, you know? So feel accomplished and do the job. I like it. So have a blessed day, everybody. See you next time. And hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you like this kind of stuff, this is what we do. We help the little guy beat the big guy. See you next time.